get that feeling that. It's the Love of the Game podcast. And we back in this thing. I'm your host. It's Mondre Allen. Y'all already know how it's going down. Y'all know what the deal is.
Hey, man, that intro was when we had haircuts, man.
Hey, man, no. Is it me? Did Mondre get all the commercial time?
Hey.
Hey, you know what? That's how it go, Lock. Next time we go to the studio, Lock, my chair gonna be sitting like 3 feet higher than everybody else's chair. I'm gonna give me a throne.
Yeah, you're gonna be sitting on your belly.
There you go.
And William started.
There you go.
Hey, the podcast is officially started. There we go. That's how we start the show. That's how we get down. No need to introduce Locke. Y'all heard him. Locke's in the building. B Will in the building.
What up?
805 Pride. Huff in the building.
What's good, man?
And as always, there are no suckers in our circle. Zero. Every guest that we bring you is a culture mover in basketball, dog. We don't, hey man, no peons allowed, dog. This is the big boy table. You can't sit with us. Let's be clear. We got one of the top 50 assistants in Division I basketball, newly minted. That's official. That's an award, Coach. That's official. We got Coach Tim Kaine from Murray State Racers in the building. What's good, Coach?
What's going on, man? Appreciate you guys having me.
Hey, man.
Who'd you pay to get that?
I don't know. I need to drop that check though. Because hey man, I saw that. My family started blowing me up. I'm like, come on, man. Really? That's like rankings. It don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
You gotta when you show up, you gotta win.
Hey man. Before we get going, man, anybody got any like exciting news? I know this is quarantine, but like, how's everybody's week? I ain't talked to y'all since Sunday. What's going on? We good?
Hey, man, ESPN is throwing out all these all-time teams. Me and Locke been going back and forth about these all-time teams.
I just been starting arguments with Huff for the hell of it.
that game yesterday, that Utah and Bulls game, however they did that, it made that in high def. They need to do that for a lot more games so we can keep watching some, because that was cool. Like I enjoyed that. They
definitely do, bro. Like I like the I saw some highlights with the Phantom Cam too. The Phantom Cam highlights is pretty dope. I'm feeling that. Locke, you never gonna let this Karl Malone thing go away, are you?
No.
Are you gonna admit that you were wrong?
I'm not wrong.
Tim, he doesn't think Karl Malone is.
Here we go.
He said he's 5. He said he's number 5 behind Kevin McHale, Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, and who was the other?
Yeah, you did Dirk, right?
Did you put Dirk above him too, Mondre?
Tim Duncan, the greatest power.
I said Tim Duncan.
Tim.
And Barkley.
Top 5.
Top 5.
You don't get buckets like that. I don't care. They can say, "Oh, he had Stockton. He had the great offense." It don't matter. You saw that mid-range jumper.
Hey, top 5 all time ain't bad.
Nah.
His mid-range was automatic, man.
Yeah.
Karl Malone, he passed out work and went fishing afterwards.
Hey, so who
he went on his motorcycle.
Yeah.
Lock, who
did WWE?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Hey, that might have been his calling for real. Let's be clear. Hey, so Lock, who are you kicking off the list? The power forward list. You putting Karl Malone in the top 5? Who you kicking out? You kicking Barkley out?
Yeah, I'll probably kick Barkley out. Yeah, I'm gonna put Dirk. Dirk was an MVP. Well, Dirk won a championship and got an MVP. Beat LeBron. Definitely top 5. Tim Duncan, top 5. KG beat LeBron, top 5. Karl Malone. And who else we got?
So beating LeBron gets you in the top 5?
Y'all be saying he the GOAT.
I'm just asking you to tell me what you say.
Nah, my
What
top
did you
five.
say?
I
Okay.
just gave it to you. KG, Brock. This is no particular order. KG, Tim Duncan, Dirt.
No, I
Carmelo.
want order. Don't give me no particular
put no
order.
order.
This is personal.
I can't put no
Let's
order.
be personal.
You put your children in order. How you love them?
I'm not messing with you, dog. I'm not. There's so much I can say off of that, but I'm not. I'm
just saying.
So no love for Kevin McHale and his championships in Boston. None.
I'm gonna be honest, dude. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like talking about people that I didn't see.
So how are you grading Barkley? What years are you grading him off of then?
Can't see Barkley either.
Well, you know what?
McHale, by the time McHale was more 80s than 90s.
Yeah, I was born in '89.
And when was
Barkley for real then?
we barely saw Mike.
You say what?
You didn't see Barkley for real then either.
Yeah.
Dude, I just said I'll talk about guys that I saw. Just like when I tweet, I tweet on guys that I see. Or talk about guys that I see.
It's a lot of people like you who tweet and haven't seen kids and doing write-ups.
Well, hey,
Bryce is already throwing the haymakers early in the show.
Get on
a couple of guys like that.
Get on his head, Bryce.
Is there, huh?
I said, get on his head, Bryce. He ain't talking about nothing. Get on his head.
He ain't talking about me.
Nah, I'm not talking about him.
I'm talking about no kid.
He hasn't seen Barkley. He hasn't seen Mike. We barely got to see them.
You know, the biggest thing that I'll say is that you got to realize Kevin McHale played with some dudes. You know, and I look at Karl Malone, and the only Hall of Famer he played with was John Stockton. Now,
true fact.
Yeah, but okay.
So now that counts.
Good, though.
That does count because you knew who was the man every night. It was Karl Malone, and people had to stop him, and they still couldn't get the job done.
And we'll make it better. Karl Malone's daughter went to the WNBA. Michael Jordan kids didn't get there.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, so let's put. You know what? No, I'm not going here with Locke, man. I'm not going here with Locke. That did happen. That's true story. True facts, Locke. Does he claim his kids though?
Y'all going too far. Y'all going too far.
You are.
Karl Malone's still a bad man. I ain't messing with that dude.
he gonna have a picture on a Mondre on his wall like this.
Hey, Sly's right. Barkley didn't play when in the Hall of Fame.
You are correct. No KJ in the Hall of Fame, Locke. But you know, that's what it is, man. It's what have you done for me lately? So, you know, Karl Malone's in the last dance, so he gets the knock. He gets the
wow. Wow.
I see how y'all do, man. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? You're only as good as your last game. That's what they say, ain't it?
That ain't what you said. That ain't what you said about Dan Marley.
Huh? You know what, Huff? Okay, so I didn't even say that. I kind of said the Karl Malone stuff, but I really did not say Dan Marley.
You said Dan Marley would stop Clyde Drexler. Did you not?
I said that was who was going to be guarding him. That's what I said.
I don't know. I need some backup.
Hey, Coach, you see what I got to deal with, man? They really don't they don't let me live on here, man. I don't get the chance to breathe on here at all.
Because you do all the talking.
Yeah. Mondre new to this basketball thing. He mad. Mondre mad because nobody sends kids to Georgia Man Up and y'all don't play in live periods and stuff like that.
Oh, timeout.
Wow.
We won on the radar for our age group for live period last year.
They play. They just don't play on the ESPN court.
Oh, do they?
Man.
We won.
Hold on.
What court they play?
You don't have to get seen. You don't have to get seen on the ESPN court now.
Court they play the other gym. Lock. They not playing in the rec.
He playing way out there in South Cobb. We had McKeitchery. You got Hiram. You got Eagle Grove. But I gotta drive all. I gotta drive. I'm out of the way
to go get a write up. To go get a write up at Alatoona.
Oh, somebody said at Alatoona. You playing at Alatoona.
I just get no love, man. Hey, look, whatever bracket you put us in, that's the bracket we win in. It's like the NCAA tournament, dog. You can send us out west to Phoenix if you want to. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We just gotta win the bracket that y'all put us in. That's all we can do.
But are you beating Virginia in the first round? That's the question.
We beat 2 shoe teams in that event.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, they had a good team.
Holla.
What shoe teams you beat?
We beat Team Moam, and it was.
Hold on, what grade is this?
This was 8th grade.
That was last year. That was 8th grade.
Oh, 8th grade. Okay, who else?
I'm trying to think of who's the other one that we played in that event. We played another shoe team in that event and won.
No,
We got not a Night Riders in an event in Florida, but we beat several shoe teams last year.
Okay.
Somebody said those not shoe teams.
The Night Riders.
Even Coach Kaine like,
Hey, he sounds
Hey, so he can't talk to me because y'all lost the Team Moam and we beat him.
Who?
I'm talking about.
and then he said 8th grade.
No, they're not. I'm just telling you what is supposed to be on their jersey, man. I don't know, bro.
Nah, don't
Man,
make
they going out to your head today, man. You better get to this. You better get to answer some questions. It's
love
gonna be a long night.
Hey, that's why I'm here, man. Kill me. That's why I'm here. That's sacrificial lamb, dog. That's what I do, man. I can take it.
Locke will have a course when you guys get to 17U. He'll have a course for you on how many visits you get and all that stuff, and how to set your rosters up online and all that stuff for you. So we'll be ready to go.
Locke teaching the course.
I might be gone by then.
Hey, no, they ain't gonna have my wristbands at the front if Locke teaching the course.
Yeah, you're right. They probably won't.
Hey, you know what? Ask Coach some questions, so I don't even want to take it up with you today.
Coach.
Yes, sir.
On this show, we will not allow you to duck any smoke or any questions because I'm telling you, this comment section is gonna get jumping.
Mark Edwards is at work today, so I think he'll be okay on that note.
Hey, Uncle Drew in here, it's gonna get popping. Hey man, you duck any questions, coach, it's gonna get jumping. Let me ask this, coach. I just saw that as of I think it's June the 8th or something like that, that voluntary football and basketball workouts are will now be allowed. Can you tell us what this means? Is there a such thing as voluntary workouts?
By NCAA rules, there are voluntary workouts.
Good.
Voluntary workouts. But it's June 1st.
It's June 1st.
Yeah. It's like my college coach used to tell me, he said, these are voluntary workouts, but I mean, I can voluntarily kick you off the team too. So, you know, he used to say that. That was 97 when he said that to me. And I was like, I got you, coach. I'll be there. Yeah. But it depends state to state. That's the thing. Like the NCAA can pass it to where you can do it. But if your state's not going to allow and your school's not going to allow you in the facilities, you can't get in there. So, I mean, it all depends on school to school. So the NCAA is just basically saying, hey, if you are allowed in the gym, you can get in there. But, I mean, if your state says no, that state trumps the NCAA.
I had no idea. Yeah. Look at the NCAA trying to keep people off their ass, man, trying to dodge liability. No, we leave it to the state. It's whatever y'all want to do. I got you. What does that look like for Mary? You guys are in Mary, Kentucky. Yep. What does that look like for you guys?
We're waiting right now just on from the governor to board of trustees, and that goes to the president, then to the AD to figure out when we can, you know, officially bring. We're hoping we can bring them for summer school. So we're just waiting to see when they're going to tell us when we're allowed to. So for us, it's a waiting game, just like people trying to open their businesses and everything else. We're all just kind of waiting to see what they're telling us.
Got you. I know for us, I think in Georgia, Huff, didn't the release say that for basketball, it could be like traditional?
They didn't say basketball.
No, that said football.
It said football starts June 8th.
It said football. They didn't
I
say
thought
nothing
they
about
said football and basketball, but no basketballs would be allowed.
No. Again, it said football activities can start June 8th. Conditioning only, no equipment.
So Huff, did you get cheated?
I'm gonna be honest with you. What am I gonna bring my kids in just so they can run sprints? I'm not doing that. If I can't use the basketball, what's the point of me going in like?
That's real. How long do we think that people are going to be in this like place? Like how long before we get together for the sake of getting together, man? Do we think
Somebody gonna buck the system on June 8th? Just believe. Somebody think they trying to get a one up on somebody, man. I'm getting my kids in the gym. Just know that liability policy that GAC ain't got on you ain't covering you if you do that now.
Wow. So that was the first thing I thought of. When I saw that statement, I immediately tweeted, there are no such things as voluntary football workouts. There's no such thing, man. Them guys gonna be in full pads, dog. Like
they say you can't be in any football equipment, the same group, because it don't could be like I think 10 at a time. It's got to be that same 10 each time you're doing your rotations with the same coaches. We'll see how this go, man. But they pushed it back to June 8th because some of the larger school systems, they couldn't get ready in a week. They couldn't get ready by June 1st to get all the procedures in place. You know, one way in your gym or wherever you're going, one way out. You know, getting a plan in place. You know, like for me, I already got a somewhat semi plan I would have once they actually let us use basketballs again. So we would just basically, if we're allowed to go, you know, bring kids in, I would just do 4-on-1s, man. And just keep it at that.
Got you. Coach, you've been at the Division I level for a very long time. You've had success at multiple stops. How much time, and we're not holding you to this, we just need to understand how much time does it take for like a major program like Mary to get comfortable with being able to play a game? Like how much time do y'all need summer workouts or preseason to feel comfortable to say, hey, we've had enough time that we're ready to go out and play?
Yeah, I don't even think at the beginning we think we have enough time because, you know, you always want to get better. You always want to tweak things and you always want to make sure we're at a certain spot. But they do, you know, they give us the advantage if we get an exhibition game and a scrimmage, or you can do 2 of each. You know, you can switch it, do 1-on-1 or just 2 of each. So, you know, you kind of get the kinks out. You get to watch the film, you know, break it down with the guys and you're usually ready. But I mean, I'm thinking about when I played, like we didn't have summer school. Like, I mean,
Yep.
I look young, but I'm old. And, you know, I'm 42, so
I hear that too.
So, you know, I was 97 to 2002, and we didn't have summer school. You came in the fall, you better be in shape, and you better be ready to go. And if you weren't, you fell behind. And then, you know, you went till October 15th when you got to practice. So, I mean, I think there's plenty of time. Obviously, the summer helps us, and it's big because you can slowly build. That's the big thing. You can take your time and teaching and building, and they can really learn your culture, which is why there's more freshmen being more successful, you know, because they can come in and they can learn the system and they don't have to rush it like we used to back in the day where in October 15th practice started and then you kick off November 15th, you know, November 10th. So
Right.
you know, you didn't have much time to where we can build and we can slowly build and get those guys where they need to be. So, I mean, I think these kids nowadays, obviously they get to watch way more film than we did growing up. They have trainers, they have coaches that are watching film in high school with them or junior college. So, you know, they're a little more advanced, just kind of knowing the game a little bit at times.
Coach, if you guys had a young team, you know, a lot of young teams, a lot of coaches who have young teams kind of go on the overseas trips, or, you know, whether it's Costa Rica or whether it's, you know, overseas somewhere. Is that going to really impact one of those young teams? Because they're not going to be able to do that this summer.
Yeah, I think so. You know, we went this past summer, we went to the Bahamas because we're going to have a young team. We're relying on guys that were role players. Obviously, we lost Shaq Buchanan and Ja Morant, really 2 great players for us and, you know, both having great pro careers. And so we needed that time, especially, you know, for us, we had a point guard for 2 years. It was pretty good. Now we had to have 2 young freshmen, a redshirt freshman and a freshman, kind of start to take the role of being that point guard and kind of teaching them how it has to be and how we play. So that was huge for us. I think it's going to hurt some teams just because, man, it gives you such an advantage. The 10 practices used to be gigantic when you couldn't do much in the summer. But now that we can do more in the summer with the guys, the 10 practices are huge, but they're not as big as they used to be.
Got a good question asking about players getting back on campus and will housing open up? How's that situation look for you guys, man? Are your players separated from other athletes anyway? Do y'all have just a basketball only dorm, or what does that look like for you guys on campus?
Nah, we don't have that. We don't have the racer den or the racer stable. Like, some of these schools got their own facility and then they throw in like 2 lottery students and say it's for everybody. We don't have that. Our guys stay in the dorm.
I won't call out the school you talking about, Coach. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we all know who it is. I'm not calling it out. To be honest with you, I wish we had it. No, but our guys are in the dorm with, all the students. It's great because they get to mingle with all the normal students. They get to know them, especially just think these students now, they can say they were in the dorms. They were in the dorms with Ja
Well, we got a smart audience, boy. I'll tell you.
Yeah. But they were in the dorms with Ja Morant, Isaiah Kaine, Cameron Payne. Like, they can be like, man, they live right down the hall from me. So, you're getting that real college experience that it used to be like, obviously, I saw what school we put on there, but, there's more than them that got that too now. But for us, in the summertime, our guys stay in an apartment. So we put them there, and then in the school year, they move on campus. So for us, we're just waiting to get the go-ahead from the state and then the school to tell us we can do it.
Man, Coach, since you brought his name up, man, we'll go ahead and talk about it, man. Y'all had some.
Let's get into it.
Y'all had some certified killers, Coach. Y'all had some killers. Made a big run in the NCAA tournament, man. What is it like to coach a guy or a kid like a Ja Morant? What does that look like in practice every day, Coach?
I mean, it was easy. That's like the simplest I can give. Like, he was so coachable. He always wanted to learn, and he competed at a high level. And he brought up the rest of the team with him as a sophomore when he became the team leader, and as a freshman, we had 2 seniors who were first team all league who were really nice and obviously playing the G League. Another one went over to Israel to play, and those 2 were studs. So he kind of laid in the background. He made sure they got the ball and did what they were supposed to do. But man, he's always been that guy, man. He was easy to coach. Like, he knew the game. He's a savant. You can see it out there as the games keep going in the NBA. He just keeps getting better and better because he just always is learning. And that's the thing. When he got there as a freshman, honestly, we saw him in that first pickup game. We met, we were like, this guy's boys, he's not going to be here for 4 years.
After one pickup game.
Yeah, Coach McMahon was like, guys, he's not going to be here for 4 years. I'm sorry.
That's crazy.
Because he coached my head coach, Coach McMahon. He coached Isaiah Cannon and Cameron Payne too.
Right, so he knew.
So he knew he'd seen 2 NBA players, obviously pretty good ones.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, guys, we're not gonna have him very long.
Coach, Ja made a definite jump, and you and I have talked about it. Can you tell everybody that jump he made and when he came back after what you tell everybody, what he saw once he came back when he was on the floor?
Yeah, obviously that summer between freshman and sophomore year, he made a humongous jump. Went from averaging 12 points a game to 23, 24, 25, whatever he was. By the end, it depended on the game. I mean, he was putting up buckets, but he was also obviously the assist. He led the nation in assists. The biggest thing was he obviously got a little bigger, got stronger. I mean, his athleticism, honestly, I'd be in the practice facility and he'd just start throwing dunks off, the ball off the wall and doing dunks and stuff. And you could just see it keep increasing and getting better and better, which I didn't think it could. Mm-hmm. But then his IQ kept getting better. And we talked about this actually last night in a chat. He went to the CP3 camp and he came back and, we were talking about coming off ball screens, and CP told him, he said, don't look for what, if they're going to hedge, if they're going to ice. He's like, listen for it. They're going to tell you. So the bigs, when they sprint out there, they're going to be yelling what they're doing. He's like, then you can just see the whole floor and then you can make a play. You know, as a young guy, you're sitting, oh, is he going to hedge? What's he going to do? Is he going to ice? Is he going to blitz? He's like, they're going to tell you what they're going to do. And he figured that out right away and took that. And obviously he ran with it and just kept increasing that IQ and just being a leader.
Coach, we've been having these conversations about guys that are the best player on the team and how do they act or how do they respond to their teammates. We saw in The Last Dance that Jordan was really getting after some guys and challenging guys in practice. Like, how much of that have you seen from some of the best players that you've been able to coach?
Yeah, I mean, they do challenge guys, and guys do it in different ways. You know, some guys don't say anything. It's by their actions. They're going to get in a stance. They're going to compete. In the drill work, they're the first one out there. They're getting after it. You know, they obviously Jordan, he's my favorite player. He's the GOAT to me because that's who I grew up watching. But, you know, he had a different approach to it. Obviously, it worked. And, you know, for each person, each team is a little different. But, like, the one thing, like you talk about a great player like Ja, like, with all the stuff that was going around with ESPN there every day, NBA scouts, like, you'd have no idea. Like, his teammates love him to death. I mean, he's in the group chat right now texting with guys. In that championship team, we have a group chat with all the coaches and athletic trainers in it. We got everybody, and he's always in there. So, I mean, he was always about the guys and all about winning. So it was easy for them to play with him.
There's a lot about him.
Yeah.
There's a lot about your program, too. I know we're talking about Ja, but, you know, Coach McMahon has some standards. Y'all don't have rules on y'all team. No. Y'all have standards. And I know we got a lot of people that watch our show, man. Yeah. Kind of talk about what y'all standards are since y'all don't have rules.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is it's hard work, unselfishness, toughness, accountability, and joy. Like those are the things. Those are the core of the program. And we talk about those all the time. The most important, and Coach always talks about it, obviously, the hard work, unselfishness, toughness, accountability, but joy. He wants these guys to enjoy it. I mean, he does a great job. And it's funny, I've had other coaches tell me, like, man, you guys, you can tell they love playing for him. But because he makes it, he's like, yeah, we're going to work. We're going to compete. Man, we're going to enjoy this. Because, hey, man, you get one college career. Like, we all grew up hooping, and that's what we love to do. You know, I've been around and I've coached now. This will be going into year number 19. And you've been part of programs at times, whether you're a player or a coach. By the end of the season, you wanted it to be over, where he makes guys want to keep playing and competing. And I think that's the one special thing about the program that he's done an unbelievable job with, is the guys just want to keep winning and want to keep playing.
He's edged everybody love. That leaves a 3 open.
Yeah. For the parents and the players that are watching, or that will watch, what are some things that you guys look for in a kid or recruit to play at Murray State, as well as how tough is it to play in the OVC?
Yeah, no, I mean, the biggest thing we work for is, do you compete? That is number one. Like, we want guys that straight out just love to compete, and you can see it when you watch a game, and you can see a kid play. Obviously, you got to have talent.
Right.
You got to be coachable. If we see a kid during a game, like, takes his shoes off or, takes his jersey off, isn't coachable, like, we're not recruiting him. We've literally had talented guys, and I brought him to coach, and I said, Coach, you can't coach him. And I've told him that. And he'll say the same thing. He's like, guys, I really like him. He's super talented, but that's not a guy I want to coach. That's not the guy we want in our program. Yeah. And for us, being in Murray State, you're in a small community where you're a rock star. 13 most popular guys in town. Everyone knows who you are. You go to Walmart, you go out to eat, pictures, autographs, the whole deal. So we got to have great kids on top of that too.
Yeah.
We got to make sure you're a good person, that you can handle yourself in public. Those are huge. And then playing in the OVC. I mean, you just think last year we had 2 first-round draft picks out of the OVC.
Right.
And you think about the guys that are in the NBA still, or, in the G League, kind of going back and forth. We got quite a few guys for, a league like that to be in the NBA. I've been in recruiting long enough, and I've had guys say to me, oh, well, this league's this. I said, they don't have more NBA players than we do.
Fact. People sleep on that, Coach. One thing that I noticed about watching your team is the way you guys pass the ball. And we're showing highlights of John Morant right now, but we got some other highlights from this season as well. But I noticed last year with this team that it wasn't Ja averaged 10 assists a game, man, but it wasn't just him. Like you had big guys that could pass. Like it seemed like it became infectious for your team. Is that like something that you guys really pound into them about sharing the basketball? Is that a key to you guys' success?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is we always talk about getting the best shot for us, not always for you. So, we want the best shot for the team. So our guys do a good job of moving the ball and trying to get that best shot because they're going to know if they take a bad shot. Coach McMahon's going to let them know. He's going to let them know in a hurry. So we're big on, and he'll give them freedom to take shots, but he wants to make sure it's our shot. It's a Murray State shot. It's not the shots, say, we played Tennessee this year. The Tennessee wants us taken. We want to take the shots we want to take. And we preach that in film, from coaches meeting with players individually, to when we're as a group watching that, and then in practice, the guy takes a shot, coach won't yell and scream. He'll just be like, it ain't the shot for us, fellas. And he reiterates that all the time to where, man, it becomes to where our guys are really unselfish.
And when I watch you guys, man, I see a lot of guys on the floor that can dribble, pass, and shoot, man. Is that something that you guys look at in terms of recruiting? I know every coach says, hey, we started on the defensive end, but man, you guys play pretty basketball on the offensive end, man. Is that something that you guys look at in terms of how you recruit?
You do. Obviously, you have to be able to score to win. We take pride in our defense. I mean, we've been top 45. There's been 7 teams the last 3 years, and we're one of them. Has been top 45 in the country in effective field goal defensive percentage. And we're one of those programs. And everyone else, it's Virginia, Texas Tech, Houston, Gonzaga, and Michigan State. So, I mean, we take pride in our defensive end, but, you got to recruit guys that you feel like fit your system. And that's big for us. You can see here, we play a 3-out, 2-in. We want guys that, if you can't shoot, we're really not going to recruit you. I mean, that's just as talented as you are, athletic as you are. If you can't shoot, that's not someone we're probably going to recruit a whole lot. We really put an emphasis on that. And obviously for your bigs, you want them to be able to shoot a little bit, but we're not going to be like, if this guy's not shooting 40% from 3, that we're not recruiting them. But we're talking more point guards, 2 guards, and 3 guards.
I was about to say coach because I know DeMond Robinson.
Hey, he thinks he can shoot 3s.
He's mad.
Yeah,
I know DeMond personally.
He's a beast down low, though.
Yeah, he is. He is definitely.
And
he's a clown. I love him.
Oh man, he's one of my favorites.
Hey man, y'all didn't have to do my Eastern Kentucky Colonels like that, Coach. That's my alma mater now. Y'all didn't have to do them like that, Coach. That I understand y'all at the top of the OVC. Don't do my guys like that, man. Don't break no records on us, Coach.
Nah, we didn't break any records, man. We're just out there to win games, man. That's all we're there to do. Drake, one game at a time. We're just trying to take care of business, move on to the next one.
I got a wing plate on Murray State. Eastern
Not taking that bet.
my hot lemon pepper.
They're doing a good job there, though, man. You should be proud. He's got some good players there. He's done a good job.
Coach, y'all play. I mean, we're talking about teams in OVC, but you guys, OVC is tough, man. Obviously, you got Belmont, you got Jacksonville State, Texas Tech. I mean, talk about your league for a little bit. There are a lot of people who just think they only see big boy basketball, what they call big boy basketball, not understanding how tough it is in the OVC.
Austin people 21 games too.
Exactly.
I mean, you just sit there and you look at especially the top half of the league. Like, I mean, it's tough. I mean, we talked about it 2 years ago. That year we won it with Ja his sophomore year. Any team in that was in the Final Four and the semifinals, I felt like could have won a game in the NCAA tournament. That was Austin Peay, Jacksonville State, Belmont, and us. Obviously, Belmont won a game. We won a game in the NCAA tournament. So, I mean, I felt like Jacksonville State, I mean, they had high major transfers all over the place. I mean, they had guys. Austin Peay's done a really good job there. And Terry Taylor was player of the year this past year. He was a really good player. And they brought in a good freshman who was freshman of the year. So, I mean, they don't realize, like John Morant was recruited by South Carolina, and some other bigger schools. Like, so were some of the guys that are playing on the other schools too. It's not like, this was their, oh man, this is where I got to go because I don't have any other choices. There's been like we talked about, there's guys in the NBA right now from the OVC,
Right.
On championship teams, winning teams. That there's OVC guys, whether it's the G League or the NBA, that are all over the place.
Hey, Coach, we've been learning that lesson. At least I have all year. Bigger ain't necessarily better.
Yeah, especially if you're off the bench.
You better go where you can get better.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we always talk about too, like for us at Murray State, like you're going to play in front of 6,000 to 8,000 every night. You know, we've been to high major games and played a money game, and there ain't that many people at that game. You know, it's just facts. You know, our whole entire city is about Murray State. Like you go in there, all you see is people wearing Murray State. All they talk about is Murray State. You know, I've had coaches told me in the league they don't let their guys leave the hotel anymore. Not because people are yelling and screaming at them. It's just because when they go out to eat, all they see is Murray State everywhere, and they got a little intimidated by that. The players did, because that was their first time being there.
That's what I was going to ask you. How did you guys handle, like, I mean, because I feel like every kid who played basketball was watching Ja Morant videos. Every post of them. You know what I mean? Like, how do you guys handle that stuff as far as, like you said, you know, hiding? And we saw Dennis Rodman take off, you know, and 300 cameras were chasing them. So I'm sure it was similar to something like that.
Yeah. Nah, you know, we talk about that all the time to our guys, just about, you know, you are the most popular guys in town. Everyone's going to know who you are. You know, that's why they come there, though. We always talk about it, too. We play in a big game in front of big crowds. We say, this is why you came to Murray State. We play in a championship game. That's why you came here, because you came here to win championships and get yourself to, you know, that level. And obviously, Ja took it to another level. It's just like, you know, this fall recruiting-wise, we went 4 for 4 on 4 official visits. Obviously, that Ja Morant effect was real.
Sheesh.
Yeah. I mean, that's never happened. And when I go to gyms, people will come up to you, hey, man, do you know Ja? I'm like, yeah, coach. And these are recruits that are asking that. And, like, people just walking around, like, it almost felt like, obviously, it's different. But, like, you're, like, and we're not at that level, obviously. But a Duke, a Kentucky, a Carolina, like, they know who you are. They know your players. Like, they now know about you. And that was the advantage, like, going out in the fall. I mean, a kid who signed with Florida at a junior college, he's sitting there telling me he's asking me about all our players, because he said he started watching our games when Ja was a freshman.
Right.
So he knew all our guys. He was like, hey, how's he doing? And I was just like, a week later, he commits to Florida.
Coach, I was just talking to a kid last week and asking him about his recruitment. I always like to ask players questions about what school they want to go to, but more so why they want to go to certain schools. And ask them, hey, man, do you have a dream school, man? What's your dream school? And he's like, man, Ja Morant, my favorite player. It's my dream school. That's where I want to go. Hey, so
get my number.
That impact is real.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, there's no question. You know, one of the guys we got coming this year, that was one thing, the first time I met him, and this was the spring when I met him. And he's just like, Coach, man, Ja's my favorite player. I started smiling. I said, I think we're in good shape with this guy. You know,
Coach, we're watching highlights of the Murray State Belmont game. And I don't know if everybody can see this or not on my screen, but it's not an empty seat in this entire arena for this game right now.
Nah, I mean, they pack it out. I mean, it's great. I mean, that's the thing. Like the fan support there. I mean, I was at Florida Atlantic, and, you know, the new staff there has done a great job. But when I was there, they didn't have many fans, and they started growing it. And we brought he was a manager for me when I was at FAU. He became our video coordinator. He came to the first, it was an exhibition game, and we walked out. He's like, man, you weren't playing. Like, they're all here. I was like, yeah, man, welcome to the big time. This high level.
Big league.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the thing we always talk about. Like, guys, we are a high major program. We tell our guys that when we recruit them, we want to recruit high major players and high major people. So, I mean, that's what we're selling them on. And obviously you can see the crowd. I mean, it sells itself like that.
Keep getting them ESPN games, Coach. I 100% believe it. When you can go, you can play on ESPN. You get to go play in a good league, especially playing on a team that has a chance to win their league every single year, man. Like, it was nip and tuck with you guys in Belmont, you know, all year. You guys beat them at home, and they had to play them again in the OVC championship game, man.
Don't bring up that game to them. Don't bring up that game.
I'm not gonna quite call it a robbery, but coach, it didn't go the way that we wanted it to. We'll say that. But a high level basketball game, man, like that was one thing I took away from watching your film. Like, and we talked about it a little bit before the show. Like, it's a lot of kids that Murray State Belmont game. It's a lot of high school. If you're watching this and you're a high school freshman, there's a high probability that you're not good enough to play in that game. Like, how do you get kids to understand in the summertime what that level is gonna be like before they step out on the floor?
Yeah, I mean, we now obviously it's helped with having Ja and all the guys we've had, so they can kind of sit there and say, "Oh, like they've had top 2 pick in the NBA draft. Like this is no joke." But even before that, these guys got to realize like you're playing against men now. You go from high school where you were the man, but these guys have been in the weight room, some of them 4 or 5 different years, and some of them went JUCO. So those JUCO kids, they had to do it differently. They had to grind it out. They weren't riding on a nice bus or riding on the plane, and they want to fight for everything they have. And when you get in there, man, it's a dog eat dog world. Because when you start getting those pickup games, you get into practice, you're going to find out who wants to compete and who doesn't. And if you don't compete at Murray State, you don't last long. I mean, we just tell guys that. We tell them in recruiting, like, come to a practice. You're going to see, and, parents, they'll be like, wow, this is a high-level practice. Like, I remember we had a parent, the kid ended up going somewhere else, but the dad just came to me and said, man, it's not even close. Y'all's practice compared to these other guys. He's just the way you compete, the guys, the way they compete and how hard they play. And we take pride in that. I mean, I think for me as an assistant coach, but even more so for our head coach, Coach McMahon, like NBA scouts, I'll never forget, we're playing a game. They came up and said, I think you're going to win this game. I was like, really? They're like, man, we've been to, all the high majors practices. They're like, you all compete as hard or harder than any of these teams out here in the country. And I just thought for us, and for Coach McMahon, the way he does it and the way he, our practices are set up, that, I mean, it's going to be way worse than a game, and in a good way. I mean, we're going to compete. We're going to get after it. There's no screaming and acting a fool. But if you don't compete, you don't play at all. And guys learn that pretty quickly.
Is that due to the fact, Coach, that you guys are expected to win your league every year? Like, it's not about necessarily winning games. Like, y'all at the point where, like, we're winning the league. Like, it's almost championship or bust every year. Is that part of that expectation? Do you guys talk about that at all?
I mean, we do a little bit, but I mean, it's more about when, it's the buzzword now is the process, and we just talk about that building and getting better every day. We don't really talk about winning the championship whatsoever. And we'll address the year before in the first meeting and maybe one more time, and that's it. And then it's on to the next year. So for us and at Murray State, like, that's what they expect. I walk around town like, Coach, you can win that regular season. They're happy, but like, Coach, that ain't it. We expect the NCAA tournament here. Like, I understand completely. But you like that pressure. You rather be at a place that cares and just wants to be a part of it. I've been in one program. We won 2 high major games, and a lady looked at my shirt and said, "Are y'all Division I?" At the mall, which was a mile away from it. So I'd rather be at a place where, I go to the grocery store. Hey, Coach, how you doing? My daughters is like, Dad, do you know them? I'm like, kind of. I don't really know them, but, I'm one of the coaches, so they know us. Like, it's just, being a part of that. When you work so hard and put so much work in, that's what makes it important to you. And it makes it special for you to keep working harder, too.
Yeah. So, Coach, on your schedule, what game do you have circled? Like, if I don't win this game, I'm going to lose some sleep tonight.
Everyone. Because everyone, I'm telling you, you're miserable. I know my wife, she wants no part of being around me if we lose. And that's been wherever I've worked, But, I mean, especially there, like any game. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's exhibition, it's a scrimmage. Man, you're going out there to compete and you're out there to win. And that's what they expect. I mean, when you walk into our arena, you see banners from the 50s that go all the way to 2019. And there's a lot of them. And we've been in the NCAA tournament 17 times as a program. There's high major programs that haven't done that. And I've been in some of them, and I looked up, and there was like 5 or 6 NCAA tournament appearances. And they're in Power 5 conferences. And I'm like, wow. Like you forget, how special it is that we've done that many times.
Coach, if I'm not mistaken, what is it, 19 out of the last 20 years? You guys have a winning record?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, it's I take that back. No, it's I think it's 31 out of 32 years.
Jeez.
Yeah. So they expect nothing but. And that's the thing, you think about the lineage, Popeye Jones played there. I mean, Marcus Jones.
Longer than I've been living.
Marcus Brown, who's the all-time leading scorer in EuroLeague history, who was drafted in the NBA, he played there. Like he led EuroLeague as an American in scoring.
Wow.
Like I was talking to my buddy in France, and we were talking some recruiting stuff, and he was like, I was like, Marcus Brown? He's like, man, I watched him growing up. This was a dude in France, and he was like, man, he was a bucket. So I mean, it carries weight. We've had a lot of guys go overseas and be really successful.
Coach, we got to know when is Murray State getting the University of Louisville or UK matchup? I'll add one. Kentucky University. When are you guys getting one of those?
I have no idea. I really don't. Like,
they scared, Coach. They don't want that.
Nah, I'm not saying that. It's just yeah. Now, I don't think we've ever in the history of the school played UK.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think in the history of the school. Yeah, UL, I think they played before, but UK, they've never played.
I feel like we should get those games, man. I was against Indiana pulling out of those games. Like, I feel like there's such great basketball tradition in that area. Indiana University, Murray State, Moorhead, University of Louisville, Western Kentucky. Like, we got to get those, man. Like, Louisville kicked up I think a series with Western Kentucky, but like we really got to get that good round robin effect going on, Coach.
Yeah, that's above my head. That's those ADs. They take care of that.
well, we're talking about above your head, Coach. I guess I can go on and drop this nugget right here. You want me to go ahead and drop it, Tim?
You can drop whatever you want.
So tell me what you learned from Coach K, and tell everybody why I'm asking that question.
Well, Coach K, I'm beyond fortunate. He's my godfather. So
whoa!
Obviously, I was a Duke fan growing up. Yeah, so, see, I got 3 other brothers, so there's 4 of us. And they're just like, man, how do you win the lottery like that?
Are they coaches too?
Nah, one just retired as a full colonel in the Army. 2 years ago, I got one who's a lieutenant colonel in the Army, and another one who's does accounting up in Northern Virginia. So two of them went to West Point. So that's how my dad and Coach K went to West Point. And when Coach K was the head coach at West Point, my dad was in admissions as an admissions officer, and they became best friends. And I happened to just be born, and they were best friends. And so he was like, hey, man, you want to be his godfather? 2 Catholic dudes are like, hey.
Right.
And here's the problem. I didn't give my kids any godsons, I should be the one giving them godparents as much as I won the lottery.
And I thought you would be able to pass that down. You can't pass the godfather kids, man. Give them Coach K too.
He might have ended that one when he saw me. He's like, yeah, I'm done. Nah, but he's the guy. Obviously, I've had other coaches, but growing up, he inspired me. That's what I wanted to be. I knew, everyone wants to be a pro, and then you start to realize you're not a pro real quick. I'll never forget shaking Elton Brand's hand as a freshman. His hand went like almost to my forearm, and my hand was still right there. I was like, yeah, this ain't happening. I need to become a coach. And so, obviously studying him, watching him, the way he runs his program, I got the internship there in summer of 2002. I got to be there in the office for 3 months and just be a fly on the wall. It wasn't in meetings and stuff like that because obviously they're going to do their thing. But, I kind of get a little backstage access sometimes to the program and just seeing he's such an unbelievable leader and the CEO that he is of the program and how he runs it. Like you can just every player talks about like, yeah, he's a great coach, X's and O's, but it's how he knows how to communicate with guys and knows to push buttons. That's what separates him from other guys.
Mm-hmm. Coach, we got guys asking real deal recruiting questions in the in the live chat, man. We got Corey Brown asking what's the graduation rate of the team?
I'll do the answer that I loved, and Steve Forbes said this. This is who I heard it from. He said every player that wanted to graduate graduated. That is true.
I like that. I like that answer. I like that.
It's true. You got to think with all the access they have to tutors and all the help they get. Like if you want to graduate, you graduate. You know, I think we've had, other than the guys that went pro, everyone's graduated. You know, obviously Ja's working on his degree right now, actually, because he always talks smack in the group chat that he's working on his degree. You know, because guys is talking about, man, you got your banner, you ain't even got that degree yet, and they're like, nah, that degree's coming. You know, Isaiah Cannon, Cameron Payne, they ended up leaving, you know, a little early. Isaiah, you know, graduated, I believe, and then every guy's graduated. The one that didn't, he went and played overseas, so he's waiting to come back and finish degree. And that's the one thing with Coach McMahon. If a guy hasn't finished, like we'll keep him an extra year. We did that for 2 guys to make sure that they graduate. So we're big on that. So everyone that's been in the program, that's been a senior, has graduated.
No doubt. Good stuff. Dave, I agree. Got Dave saying OVC could easily have 3 or 4 teams in the big dance. I think you could definitely have 2 every year for sure, with a possibility of a third. I think you guys in Belmont could be in the dance every single year.
Yeah, but they're not doing that. They got that net ranking. That net ranking hurts us. So
for sure.
They're going to make sure that don't happen every year. But, you know, the one thing I was looking at, just the all-conference team from last year. So we have a first team of 10 and the second team of 5. 13 out of those 15 are sophomore or juniors and 1 freshman. There was only 2 seniors that were on that. So, like, our league, it was young last year, but, I mean, it's going to be a beast. Because there are a lot of guys returning, really good players and good teams that have gotten better.
Talent.
Yeah.
Man, we got questions coming out of nowhere.
All right.
This is my guy. That's a great question. Oh, I almost asked this question pre-show.
Yeah, you did. You brought it up then. He's trying to get it right now. So it's up to the NCAA. It's not all in their hands. And when it's in their hands, you have no idea.
Got to give the big fella a medical red shirt, man. Come on. We got to see him play. He deserves to be able to finish it out. Big Darnell, talking about Darnell Cowart, 6'8", touch, could pass, good hands.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive lineman that can dribble.
Oh, he can. I mean, he's got a great IQ. That's the one thing. He knows the game. He's a really high IQ player. And that's the one thing I don't think our guys, especially the year, 2 years ago with Ja, like Shaq Buchanan, high IQ player. Ja Morant, high IQ player. Darnell was a high IQ player. We had, and Tevin Brown, some guys that we have on our roster right now, just high IQ guys.
Coach, them guys ain't gonna know who Tevin Brown is out of Alabama. Yeah. They ain't. Bryce, you might know. You probably played against them with the Canes, but they ain't in the gym like that.
Who do you play AAU with?
Like I watched film, sir.
Who do you play?
See, you watch film. I actually watched him.
We gotta do what we gotta do. I ain't got no face card, Lock. I don't get in the gym free.
Hey, man, you gotta lose some weight. Hey, that's right, man. They gotta see your neck. They gotta see all that.
Hey, Lock officially the funniest one on the show. He has I give it up.
Oh man.
You gotta name names they know, Coach. They don't know them guys.
Yeah.
Coach, what was that process like, man? You turned the ball over to a new point guard this year, and he's got to step in for Ja Morant, man. Like, what are those discussions like? Is that an exciting time or a little bit of a nervous time?
Well, we always talk to our guys like it was never about replacing Ja Morant. You're not going to, and we knew that, and we never put that expectation on any of our players. Like, we just want you to be the best version of you. And we preach that to our guys that we're recruiting. We're not recruiting you to be this guy. We're recruiting you to be you. That's why we're recruiting you. So with our guys and our point guards, and it was 2 freshmen, a redshirt freshman and a freshman who played a lot at the point. And it was, at times, you knew you were going to have bumps in the road because they were freshmen. And early on, we weren't very good. And then we just kept getting better and better and better. And those guys kept growing in their role and just became, you know, for them, you know, we'd play them together every once in a while, but for the most part, they kind of sub in and out for each other.
You talk about that environment, Coach, where there's such a high expectation. You're expected to win all the time. Coach, I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. We understand when it comes to college basketball and you expected to win, having those fans is great, but sometimes it gets a little crazy. How do you guys keep the kids like locked in on just what's happening on the floor? Like you said, you got a slow start and then you got it going, but how do you get them through that time when you got the chatter every game? Like there's no game that doesn't get covered playing with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we always just say shut out the noise. That's our big thing. Outside noise, whoever it is. And, you know, the one thing for these young guys, especially nowadays, like for me, I had to call long distance to call home. So I wasn't calling home that often. You know, they got cell phones, they can text, they can DM, they have everyone and all these people, different people in their ear. So we just talk about it, locking in and block out the noise, good and bad. Even when we're rolling, we talk about block the noise and just be in that zone to get us better. And our guys obviously did a really good job of that this past year to be able to go for our third, you know, regular season conference championship in the OVC and then one possession away from going back to the NCAA tournament 3 years in a row. So, I mean, they did a really good job with that. And that's all built on the culture and how Coach McMahon just does a great job of making the guys focus in.
Coach, you guys send your fair share amount of guys to the NBA, a good share amount of guys to sending them overseas. I've been asking coaches this as they come on the show. How much about the next level are you guys talking about to your guys? Is that a part of like your development plan to say, hey, you need to add this or add that to your game if you really want to be a pro?
Yeah, you know, we'll definitely do that. You know, especially Coach will have his one-on-ones with the guys at the end of the season and talk about obviously what they need to do to help us. But then, you know, these guys have aspirations and dreams as well. And if you let them build and buy into that, I mean, the most important person to buy into is yourself. And we always tell our guys that, and that player development and helping them grow to that next level. So Coach does a great job of just talking about that and building them, you know, and a lot of it for some of them is just the maturity and that leadership of having to learn to run a team, to be that guy on the team that does the right things, that can't have a day off. And that's what you do to become a pro. And I think, you know, we've had really good examples. I mean, a guy, Jonathan Stark, who was player of the year 3 years ago, who, I mean, he's a bad man. And he set that tone really, you know, to where Ja got to see how he played. And a kid, Terrell Miller, I mean, he had, I think it was 25-17 against West Virginia in the NCAA tournament. And they got to see those guys and how they led. And you get to see him go, and then Ja comes next. And this past year, we have 2 sophomores who become all league players, who become the team leaders. And, you know, that's when you have a program, when those guys are the ones running everything. You know, I did a little Zoom coaching clinic last week, and I told the guys, I said, just listen to this. Our players are telling guys to start over, to do it, you know, the drill over, because they didn't do it right. And we always talk about the player-led teams. Those are the teams that win championships. If it's got to be us all the time and it's us yelling and they have to hear our voice, we're not going to be very good. So we want to give them that ownership. So we do that with the guys in their player development as well.
So, Coach, what players are you talking about is pushing your other players? So are they the assholes on your team?
Nah, man, they don't have to be, you know, but they're going to know when they play, it's time to go. And in practice, like if a dude doesn't compete, they're going to let him know, and everyone's going to rip him and make fun of him. And, you know, they are going to do that. And, you know, we always talk about, you know, don't poke the bear with certain people. You know, Coach Long always talks about that. Don't poke that bear. And so our guys have gotten into it. Like, I'm that bear today. Like, you know, so when they're playing, whether it's practice, you know, individual workout, we're going one-on-one, King of the Hill, you know, those guys are going to let each other know who's that guy.
Yeah. Mondre and Huff, I bears. Yogi and Boo Boo.
Oh my God!
Hey, I can't with this man today. I really
want to. Hey, he must have got some rest last night or something.
I know. He
I got out of work early.
Hey, talking about player development, coach, are you sure that you don't have the secret sauce on how I can develop the next Ja Morant, coach? Are you positive? Flip us some game, coach. How'd y'all do it, man?
I mean, he came in, obviously you've seen the work his dad did with him, T. Morant, and heck, you saw it. They just put out a video the other day of him back in Sumter working out.
Yeah.
Just he, as a young age, he was just shown how to work. And when he got there, he knew how to do it, and he knew how to take it to the next level, And obviously, for us, Coach Nichols really works with the point guards, and he's done an unbelievable job. I mean, he had Jonathan Stark, he had Ja Morant this year with 2 freshmen helping them get to a team to 23-9 and win a championship. And he's done a great job with those guys. And, a lot of that credit goes to him. But it's those guys that buy into it. I always laugh when guys are like, I made this guy. I'm the one who made this player. I always laugh like this is a math professor. Go, man, I made Einstein. That was me. I made him. No. Like you gave them a tool to get there, but they took it and they ran with it. And we feel like we do have a blueprint that can help guys get to that level. And so that's what we always talk about. We have the blueprint to help you get there, but you got to put the work in.
And Coach, you're on a podcast with a bunch of dudes from Georgia. Well, kind of, sort of. I'm not gonna go down that. That's not where I'm going with this question.
All right.
My question is, how important is it that you guys recruit Georgia or the state?
It is important to us. We want to recruit the area, and for us, the Southeast has been unbelievable for us. I mean, obviously, Jarvis Williams he was a bad man. And obviously, we got one coming this year as well from Georgia who could be a really good player for us. So I mean, it is important for us. We want to have a footprint in the Southeast, and obviously the Georgia right now, especially Atlanta, is the hotbed. I mean, that's where the players are. So, you got to be where the players are. You got to have relationships with people. And just for us, we want to make sure they're the right fit for us. I think for me, I'm older now, so I don't get caught up in like, what's their rank? I don't care what their rank. That means 0 to me. I don't even look at that. I want to know what guy fits us, and can you see that guy in the future developing and becoming the kind of player we want, to where if he's not ranked, he's not offered by people. That's great. Honestly, those are the guys I love to recruit.
Yeah. So I mean, so it doesn't necessarily matter to you if he plays on a circuit team, shoe team, or independent team.
Nope.
Tevin Brown is an independent kid, man.
I know. I see Coach at McEachern. I'm just asking the question for the people who are watching who feel like they always got to play on the Nike teams or the Adidas teams or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. And I mean, it's great to play on those teams. It's an honor to play on those teams because I mean, they have some really good players on there, but it's not the end all and be all. Well, I mean, we're going to find you any program, that's worth their salt. Like, honestly, I haven't been in the Peach Jam in 3 or 4 years now.
Oh, wow.
It's not a knock on the Peach Jam. It's just
I love Peach Jam, but yeah.
And I love it too. I mean, heck, when I was at D2 Newberry, I was going wasting my time just because I love it. There was no shot any of those dudes.
No shot.
I take that back. We got one dude who was on a Nike team.
Did he?
South
Came off the bench?
Huh? He just didn't have the grades.
Oh.
Yeah. So we redshirted him a year, and then he got eligible. So that's
Coach
how we got. Yeah, that's
Coach be at McEachern, man.
Yeah, he do. Yeah, at McEachern.
He be at McEachern eating at Jimmy Nick's.
Hey.
That's what we be doing.
We're gonna get Mondre to the ESPN court soon, so he'll be able to see Coach Kaine on that.
To be honest with you,
hey,
me, I miss the old bag gyms. Like, back in Orlando, when it used to be there, and you have to go to high schools off site at like Celebration High School.
That's how you get a fine one. Yeah,
that's how we used to always do it. Like, to be honest with you, Brett Comer was a junior coming up and was out of Kansas, and I saw him with Each One Teach One with their 16s, and I was like, man, who is this kid? And he ended up signing with us at FAU, but then he ended up wanting out. They ended up going to Gulf Coast, but like, and that's where you find those guys.
Yeah, that's true.
At our level,
that's that's true.
Cameron Payne, he played for Team Penny when they were Team Penny, but he wasn't one of the starters. He came off the bench.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, Bryce, I got 2 more full years before I'm ready for your level at 17U, man. Give my 2 years to study, dog. I'm not pushing it.
will tell you, and everybody else will probably tell you. The first year I did it, I won 2 games in live period.
Oh,
out of
they're shaking.
Yeah. Hey, I almost got fired. How you get fired from AAU?
I'm shaking like a first time at Blue Flame, boy. Shaking. After every game. Hey, don't fire him, Zocco.
Hey, we would be at Emory, and I had to take my jerseys and be like, man, I hope they come back tomorrow.
Bryce was shaking, man.
Hey,
it was shaky.
Because you know what? The thing about it is, like, when you coach younger kids so long, I wasn't sure how to change and coach the older kids. And those dudes were shooting the ball so much, and they were not listening.
Gunning.
And I'm like, dude, nobody is here to see you shoot that much. Nobody's here to see you dribble that much. Just play the game the right way. It took me a year to realize, how to coach them, the older kids, to get them to understand that. And I mean, because we had some pretty good players that first year. We had Tay Watson, and we had some pretty good
players. A lot of guys that like to shoot.
A lot of dudes who wanted to shoot. Marcus Foster loved to shoot. Kobe Isaac loved to shoot.
Love, capital L.
And I think we probably had one of the best bigs in, on the independent circuit in Tay Watson, who's at Upstate, and he was like, dude, I can't deal with this anymore. Like, they're not passing the ball. Their parents on the sideline telling them to shoot. So it was rough. It was rough, Mondre. But because older kids, man, they trying to get to the next level.
Hey, they used to have Bryce hemmed up in the corner over by the water fountain at McKeecher.
Yeah. And guess what? They're not doing that no more.
My boy graduated.
Hey. Not doing that no more.
But Coach, honestly, that is a serious thing. I feel like so many parents and so many kids feel like that scoring is the way to get noticed. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about some of the things that you're looking at when you walk into a gym, the type of player you're looking for?
Yeah, I mean, especially with guards, I want to see when they get that ball, are they looking straight up? Or are they looking down? Because if you look down, you can't dribble. And that lets me know right away, especially a point guard. A point guard, if he's not head up, highs up the whole entire time, like, we're not recruiting him, to be honest with you. As a point guard, like, he might be an unbelievable scoring guard, and you kind of tell him, hey, man, we'll try to work you into a point guard, but right now you're a scoring guard. But, I mean, it's the same thing. You see a guy take 1,000,000 shots, and they're terrible shots. Like, in my notes, I'm writing, like, he needs to learn that that's not the shot he's ever going to get to take ever when he gets here. Like, not one time. And we want to know, will the guy, like I said, does he compete? Is he going to get in a stance and play some defense? Is he a good teammate? If I see a guy over there bad-mouthing the coach or one of his teammates, I'll literally put in my notes, I can't say what I say, but I might put like, hey, man, this dude's, you know what? I don't know if we want a guy like that. And sometimes, when the guys are competing, and it's all right to be like that. But when it's because some guy took a shot or he didn't get the shot he wanted, and you hear it, and to be honest, if I see a parent acting crazy and I find out it's that kid, done. I'll never forget when I was at Guilford College, D3, we had one dude, we called him All-Star Dad. Because, like, I mean, he was going crazy all the time. And all of us were like, and I was at the D3, and I was like, man, I'm not taking him here. And like, at that D3, we ended up having the National Division III National Player of the Year, who ended up playing in the G League and playing overseas. And he was 6'9", and now he's the player development for the Suns. So, like, he was no joke. So, I mean, we had players there, but, man, we were like, nah, we're not going to coach Super Dad. Because you got to deal with that, or Super Mom, or whatever it is.
How fast is that word
going crazy?
How fast does that word travel that Super Dad or Super Parent is probably not the one to deal with among coaches?
Quick. Everyone knows. I mean, everyone knows right away. You can figure it out real quick. Mm-hmm. And you can tell ones that, they might be passionate and they're pumped at a game and they're cheering. That's fine. But it's just, when they start going over the line and crossing the line, or like they're talking about hemming you up by the water, trying to talk you up, telling you what they need to do and what you need to do for their son, then what's going to happen when we're coaching them?
What's he talking about?
gonna be the same thing. That does not change. It's the same thing if you have a kid and he's disrespectful to his parents when you talk to him. What's he gonna be to you?
True facts.
So you can't recruit a guy like that. Like, I mean, I think it goes both ways, and I think for them, for college coaches that they meet, it goes the same for the parents and how they act as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, are they humble? Are they actually care about their kids, about the players in the program? Like they can see through that real quick too.
Coach, do you have parents try to lowball you where they make it seem like their kids not they're at your level, their kids is bigger than your level? That's what I mean. Where you talk to the kid, a parent, and basically saying, I think my kid is better than the level that you want him at.
That hadn't happened, but I did have a parent tell me. He said, "Man, y'all leagues ain't good enough for my son," and like told me that to my face, and that's why the league he was in, I said, "You know how many NBA players y'all got in the league? 0." And I went on how many the OVC had, and then he was just kind of like, I said, "Well, if the best league in the world thinks we have good enough players, I think we got pretty good players." And then I went on the Marcus Brown leading scorer in EuroLeague history, Popeye Jones, and went at, gave him all those names, and then he was just kind of like, oh. I was like, I mean, like, you can't disrespect at any level. That's the thing, and that's why I love like Corey Black, D Free. Like, he had Division III players that went to play overseas making money. Division II, I coached that too. Like, there's players at every level. NAIA's got players. Obviously, JUCO's got some players. D1's got players. They're dudes that are in the D1 benches that would not play in D2 and NAIA games, and that's just a fact.
So I think I feel like high school games, compared to AAU games, are sometimes watered down. Do you take the high school coach's advice on a player or AAU coach's advice on a player? Like, whose advice? Who are you listening to?
Mm-hmm. I think it depends on the kid and who has the better relationship with them. Because like some kids, their high school coach, like they're locked in, that's their guy, and they work and train out and work out with them. And then some, it's the AAU,
Right.
And so you kind of have to figure that out and which one you take more. And it's also who you got to know, and then who you also know who trusts that person. Who says, because some people are, I mean, it's a fact. I got friends, they sell you on guys telling you he's high major. And I'm like, we all know him. We all know him. And then there's some guys that are like, man, I don't know if he's good enough for D1. And you're looking at him like, man, that dude is like, he's more than good enough for Division I.
Yeah.
So you start to figure out which guys, and do they they undersell or they oversell. And you just got to kind of figure out what that is and where they're going to sell them. But I mean,
so the guys that oversell, do you still answer their text messages and calls?
Huh?
The guys that oversell you players, do you still keep in contact with them?
Yeah, because they're gonna have players still. I mean, here's the thing. As a college coach, like college coaches sometimes think they're more important than they really are. Let's be fair. Those guys have the players. They're more important than we are. They're the ones with the players. We're not very good if we don't have very good players. So I mean, you have to keep a relationship. It doesn't mean you have to talk to them every day or every month, but you do call every once in a while. You send a text, check in with them, make sure they're doing all right, and just care about them as a person. I mean, for me, that's what I try to do. I still reach out to coaches that don't even coach anymore, that I just liked as people. And for me, that's the way I do it. I mean, I'm not saying it's right, but I mean, that's just how I've always done it.
Coach, do you have a preference between a 4-year player and a JUCO player?
Nope. Who's the best player? Who's the best kid? And who's the best fit for the program? I mean, we've obviously had some really good junior college players. We just talked about Jarvis, Shaq Buchanan. Terrell Miller was JUCO. Those three were all JUCO All-Americans. I mean, obviously they could have gone to so-called higher levels and came to us and were really successful. And then we've had 4-year guys, and Isaiah Cannon, Cameron Payne, John Moran, guys like that. Get out. All right. That's my 7-year-old. Get out. Just go. Bye. But we don't. We want to know who's the best fit for us, and you can tell when you watch guys play. Like, yeah, that's our kind of guy. Like when I saw Shaq Buchanan play for the first time, I texted McMahon. I said, "This is our guy." He was a freshman at the time. This is his first live event in the fall. This was actually at Corey's event, and I was just like, Man, that's that dude. He literally screamed Murray State, like just the way he competed. And we knew right away. And when we saw Ja, I mean, James Kaine, who's now at Iowa State, he saw him and he just called him, man. He's like, I found the next one. Like, this is the guy, coach. You need to be here. And coach got in the car that day, left Atlanta, and drove to Spartanburg to go see him. So, I mean,
now
it don't
know a thing or two about being in and around Georgia, because you were at Georgia Southern, right, Coach?
Yeah, I was there for 1 year.
And were you there with our boy?
Oh yeah, we were there together. Yeah.
Oh,
together. No wonder he knows your Godfather's Coach K. I was
I know.
each other when he was at St. Francis, though.
Yeah.
We knew each other pretty well then.
Please tell us the most embarrassing Coach Huff story that you could possibly share on air. Please.
That's our last night's for Raw.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
What's the worst job you ever had?
All right. So, as an ops guy, I mean, it's a tough job. I've been the ops guy. I was the ops guy at Winthrop back in 07, 08. So everything in travel, they look at you for everything. It don't matter. Like, the plane is late, it's your fault. Like, it doesn't matter that there's a tornado outside. Like, it's your fault. Like, what are you doing? Well, so we land in Chicago. Was it Hare or which one was it? Midway? One of them.
Yeah.
So we land and we get out, and you're waiting for the charter bus. That big old bus.
Mm-hmm.
We look out. There is no big charter bus. I mean, it goes. I said it last night. There's a charter bus. There's a school bus. Then there's the one that's like smaller than that, but like that's the bus we had waiting for us.
The short bus?
We didn't get the charter bus.
Oh man, he gave y'all a church van.
Oh, so
Oh, he called the church van.
you couldn't even fit all the bags in the back. So, you had to put them in, they were laying in the middle lane or right in the rows. You had to put one on your lap, maybe. So, and it's in Chicago, and we're in South Georgia where it's hot.
Mm-hmm.
It's snowing. So we're driving down, and I mean, I know that guy ain't watching this podcast. The guy who was driving, but he looked like, he was on Breaking Bad selling meth or something. And so he's driving and then the heat is kind of working a little bit, not all the way. And then we get halfway there, it starts snowing.
Oh,
and the window starts coming down and it won't go back up.
he was struggling.
Oh man, it was a bad day for him that day. But he came through. When we got to the hotel, when we were going to practice at Illinois, we had a nice big charter bus for us, so we were all right. But he was sweating bullets for that one.
Oh, I can see he was. I knew he was.
I thought I had lost my job right then. I thought I was just go ahead and pack up back in Statesboro.
Yeah, that was. I can't lie. I was on text. I was like, "Oh." And when that window dropped, that made it worse because that thing just like slowly went. And that cold wind started coming in, and then Mark looked back like. And anyone knows, like, whether you get in trouble with a coach, whoever else, you try to stay in your lane, not to be seen, and then that happens. That just makes it even worse.
Wow.
So Huff isn't a straight A student then.
I'm not a straight A student, Bryce.
He was after that. Hey, we did talk. He got us some charter flights though that were big time. We got some high major charter flights that he way them more made up for that on that. I mean, we had to fly a couple of places. It was pretty nice.
Damn. So why we had to drive to Augusta, Huff?
Ooh.
When we went for the podcast, why we had to drive? Why we couldn't get a charter bus?
Hey, I wasn't with y'all, right? I had a game, right?
Man.
Huff on ops duties, man. See, that's the thing you don't know, Coach. Huff don't pull out them ops skills for us. He make us figure it out on our own. I take
head coach.
Huff.
Man, when you asked me for some op skills the other day, I pulled them out. Next thing you know, it was right on, right?
You did. But can you tell me, Huff, what happened? Why was y'all in a why did you try to put your whole team in a sprinter, Huff? What happened?
This was my first time as an ops. I don't really know. Like, they gave me this number to call. I called the number. That's the bus that pulled up.
You ain't check. They ain't send you a picture of the bus,
Bruh, nothing. And to make matters worse, it was like fathers. They got some kind of thing.
Harmon Brothers.
No, they had Father's Weekend, so almost every bus company was like booked.
booked.
Like when we making that drive because we playing Illinois, I am calling every bus company like, can I get a bus? I needed that immediately. So we get to the hotel, and again, my duties are make sure all the rooms are straight. I couldn't even do that duty because I'm trying to find a bus. So my boss is mad at me again. Tim had my back. He said, man, I got it, coach. He's trying to get that bus situated.
Yeah.
Luckily, we played good in Illinois, though. We almost won.
We did. We almost pulled that upset when we started icing those ball screens. They didn't know they were struggling.
They didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Oh, if you got catfish.
He got buzzfish.
But here's the one thing we did think. I said, "Is this the bus taking us to the bus?" Like I was like, "This has to be the bus taking us to the bus. There's no way this is our bus." Oh man! If Larry Dixon and Andrew are watching this, you know they're dying.
Oh man, I know Andrew's dying.
Oh man.
Hey man, it's about that time for us, fellas. Y'all wanna show some kids, man?
Let's go.
Coach, we due to COVID-19, we know guys that normally would be playing and would be kind of showcasing their skills and needed this time to showcase their skills to get an opportunity. Weren't able to do that. So we try to show some highlights, show some plays to some kids, call out some names, try to give a little exposure, man, with our time. Bryce just dropped off. I mean, he ain't ready.
Man, we're Thursdays.
But yeah, coach. So you free to handle it however you want, man. Some coaches stay on with us and watch, man. Some guys want to drop off, but man, we love the guys that stay on and watch with us.
Man, you heard Coach Kaine say I'm staying on now.
Might see a 7-footer. That's what CY say.
Hey, we want that 6'8" dude. The 7-footers in OVC, they usually don't move as well.
No doubt. What we got? Huff, I got yours. Bryce, I got yours.
I'll go first. I ain't got but one today, which is a rarity, Bryce.
Wow. He usually has 5. One from prep school, one from high school.
You just don't want to help me out, man.
Oh, really?
Oh,
It is an awful weird coincidence that normally Huff got 4 players to show, and then you come on the show. I only got 1 today. I don't know.
Maybe it's the other way around. I already sent them all the ones I need to send them.
That is true.
Hey, Coach, Huff point shaving, man. Don't.
Hey, but you ready? You ready, Dre?
I got you, Huff.
The kid that we about to show, I think is about to have. I wish he could have played if we were playing right now, but I think he's about to have a monster senior season. And this is Derek Brown, class of 2021, from Monroe area.
He's going to play with the Celtics, right?
I didn't. Playing with the Celtics.
No, he's good.
Yeah,
That's tough.
and I was the game versus the state champion in the Pace Knights in the state tournament.
Hey,
I remember seeing the kid in the summertime last year. Us, Brookwood, and Monroe area did a joint practice in the summer. And I remember then the kid was going to be good.
guys that can dribble, pass, and shoot, man. 6'6".
Yeah, he was going to make a lot of noise with the Celtics this summer.
Yes, sir.
Good pass.
Shoot, the Celtics are going to be loaded. Oh,
Yeah.
crazy.
So I really like the kid. I think some people got to get a little bit outside the metro area to go see him. But I think the kid is worth every penny to go see him. He's long, athletic.
Hey.
Good ball player. Good ball player, Huff.
So I had to just drop that one off on y'all.
Good ball player.
Let's see what Bryce got.
Ah man, Mondre, who you gonna pull up for me?
I mean, you got today, Bryce.
I got two. I had to dig into my into my bag a little bit today. You know, one is a son of a NBA legend.
Which
point
one you
guard.
want first? You want that one first, Bryce?
Yeah, because it's short. We can just do that one. Forgot what school he's at. 2021 kid, point guard, pretty athletic. But yeah, it comes from basketball royalty. Brandon Stoudemire. What high school is Brandon at? I forgot. It's in Gwinnett County though. This is all he had. He didn't have much, about 30 seconds. But like I said, he's point guard.
Is he at
Lambert? You're right. Yep, Lambert. Yep. Can get up too. He will dunk on you. See how high he's jumping on the shot. Competes really hard. So that was my first one. Hopefully he gets his huddle situated and all that stuff. And the other one
is get your huddle situated, please.
Coaches, get your team on huddle first.
I think he said something like he got, I don't know, something happened to his huddle account where he couldn't get into it or something. That's all he had was on a radar highlight. And then the other one is another 2021 kid that people might want to get on Division IIs. Philip Murray, at least for now, or lower. Philip Murray, 2021 kid, Creekside High School. My bandwidth must be moving slow because I heard Mondre's he must have dunked it. Nice shot, nice stroke, left-handed kid. He's about 6 foot, 6'1" maybe. Works very hard, good student. Just a pretty good player. Hopefully, next year as he continues to work, he'll get better and improve. And we played in a tough region.
So it's tough, man.
We played in a super tough region. So, but he's got another kid. He's got another point guard. We had another point guard at Creekside has picked up some offers as well. Kyle Jones. I think they'll be pretty good together. And then we're also changing regions. So we were Douglas County and Tri-Cities. I mean, it was a gauntlet. But those are my two guards. I don't do the bigs too much. I try to keep with the guards.
Good basketball players though, Bryce.
Yeah. I think Brandon Stoudemire, if we do anything, he might jump out there with the Canes. We'll see. So that's my guy.
Locke, you want me to go next? You want to go last?
I might can't go ahead. Technical difficulties.
Oh man, Locke bandwidth.
Nah, it ain't my bandwidth. It's my No, you can go. I got one kid.
Please call 911.
You can go.
All right, I'm going to go with. This is Aaron. Actually, I'm going to start with Anthony Arrington.
Kid can definitely play.
Yes, he can. Just got his first offer to first Division I offer, I should say, to Cal Bakersfield.
Oh, Galloway School.
Galloway School, so very tough school academically. And talking to the coaching staff, man, they just praise this kid about how hard he works. Good teammate, does the right things, plays the right way. Don't have to ask the kid to work hard. I love the corner three, man. So I'm a sucker for those. And you show me some assists on a highlight, I'm always going to feel good about those. That's tough. But you're talking about a kid that's just a 2022, man. Shoots it really well, at a good percentage, very efficient, doesn't waste a whole lot of stuff, not a lot of a lot of wasted movement or a lot of wasted dribbles, man. He just does what he needs to do with the basketball. So, like I said, Cal Bakerfield to offer you in U2022, man, like you're doing pretty good. But I think this kid is going to be somebody that, you know, had he had an opportunity to play AAU, really had a chance to kind of showcase himself after having a really good varsity season this year. Galloway School trying to build.
Who's the coach at Galloway? Anybody know?
Whiskey, Andrew Whiskey.
Oh yeah. You're right. Somebody's in the comment with Nash Kelly. Yeah, we talk about Nash Kelly all the time.
All the time.
We're high on him.
About 6 episodes ago, brother.
Yeah.
Just shown his plays a couple times too. Yeah, we definitely support Nash on this show. My next kid is a post-grad kid. This is Aaron Gray, 2020. Guard, just a big body athlete.
Is this yours or hidden gems?
Hidden gems, Dave.
This one is mine.
Dave gonna give us a player from.
Hey,
Dave gonna send us a player from Seattle, Washington,
Wichita, Kansas.
Right.
What class is he?
Y'all like this? He got a nice frame on him.
Yeah, 2020. He's a big kid, man.
What school is this?
He's still available?
Yep. He goes to Springfield Commonwealth Academy.
It's the prep school?
Hey.
Yep.
They're playing in the back gym, though.
Yeah, they playing in the back gym.
Hey, we talk about that stuff all the time, man. Sometimes it's, you know, never know when somebody gets a chance to see you. But very smooth, got the body, passes well, athletic. Kid looking for opportunity, finishes above the rim. Look for opportunity to go play.
How'd you find him?
Twitter. Hey man, coaches reaching out on Twitter. They send you highlights. I gotta see game film.
Hey, coaches and players are reaching out on Twitter, man.
Yeah.
Bryce don't check his DM, so it don't matter.
I check my DMs. I check my DMs on Twitter.
Hey man,
not on Instagram though.
But I like it right now. You know, got good highlights. They sent over game.
Do it, Locke. Don't do it.
What was you about to say?
Nothing.
Hey, Locke, are you showing the kid or no, bro?
Oh yeah. I just got one kid, a JUCO kid.
Watch your screen share, Locke, now.
You say what?
Watch your screen share, Locke. Make sure you got all this stuff on.
Man, be smooth. I got this.
It's a family show.
All right. Okay. That's my other computer. But gotta have multiple machines, PCs. But this is a kid I've been watching since the 9th grade. He's now at Independence, a JUCO in Kansas, one of the best JUCO areas in Kansas. 6'6" kid. Y'all see that?
I got you, Locke.
This is my kid, JoJo, Quindarius Thomas. He played down there in Thomasville High School for Ben Tillman. One of the top coaches in the state that I can say. Won multiple championships. He actually won a state championship with Thomasville with Reggie Perry. And this a 20. He's gonna be he's a freshman now, so he's gonna be a sophomore next year. He's gonna be in the 2021 class.
I remember this kid.
What school is that? Okay, JUCO.
No, yeah, this Dodge City down there in Kansas.
That jump shot done got better.
Man, see, you ain't seen this kid. His jump shot always been with.
He didn't shoot like that when I watched the Thomasville game I saw.
How tall is he?
6'6".
That's tough. He's shooting from deep too.
Interesting.
Bam.
It looks more fluid like than what I saw last time I saw him.
Yeah, it looks pretty fluid. I mean, I haven't seen him before, but he's
Nah,
A lot. He's available right now.
he's a JUCO freshman. I talked to him earlier today. He's going back to Dodge City for one more year. But
Unless
I know he wants to go back, but I think he can be a good low major, mid major player.
6'6" shooting the ball like that.
Yeah,
I'll say so.
and the great thing about it, he plays hard and he wants to defend.
And he's a qualifier lot.
Oh, now he wasn't a qualifier coming out of high school.
Oh, so he got to go back then. Yeah.
Yeah, he has to go back. Yeah.
Man, he's shooting now.
Y'all see, man, all these JUCOs let him go by. He went way up to Kansas. Got to recruit South Georgia.
Got to.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Why don't I mean?
No, you can talk about it.
Not everybody has a connection to Locke to go down there and who can see the.
That ain't it.
That's an excuse. There's a lot of JUCOs in Georgia, and that could have saw him.
He won a state championship his junior year when Reggie Perry was a senior. He was on that state championship team. So, like you said, plenty of people could have saw him. But like Coach said, if you only looking on Twitter and just looking for players on Twitter, you're not gonna find the South Georgia players or the Middle Georgia players or the kids out of Augusta or kids out of Savannah.
Got to go down there and find the gym. Tough kid.
Coach Kaine, do you miss the fact of you guys going to be able to go to Hutch? Can you kind of tell people what Hutch is like when y'all go out there to watch junior college basketball?
Man, I'll be honest with you. If we have a guy in Hutch, I hope we don't play that great because I know because that dude that I was recruiting might be end up in a blue blood or close to it. So, man, and you never root against the kid, but you remember it. You have a kid in the summer, and you're like, man, he's playing a little too well right now. He needs to just relax a little bit. You're good. It's kind of the same deal. I mean, you got every school in the country when you go to Hutch. I mean, all the college coaches and junior college recruiting and transfers in the last 5 years is just, I mean, it's risen to another level. Recruiting both. And you go out there and you're going to see head coach. It's not just assistants either. You're going to see head coaches out there at Hutch. I mean, that's the thing. There are going to be a lot of head coaches out there as well.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Rico Dawson, man. This supposed to be his 3rd year.
Yeah.
With Central Georgia Tech, man.
Coach, you've done a pretty good job of finding those gyms. Like we were playing about that kid playing in the back gym, but you've done a great job, and not just at Murray, just me and you actually got to know each other because you were one of the first. You might have been the first person to offer Malik Beasley, if I'm not mistaken, when he was a 10th grader. But I remember it a lot more so, even so, with a kid like Ike Smith, who you got to get to go to Georgia Southern. What do you see in kids that sometimes other coaches don't see?
Yeah, I mean, like for me, when I saw Ike Smith, he was a grown man. I mean, that was the thing. He was young. He was only 17 years old. He didn't have bad grades, but he was, he's on the border, so people kind of backed off a little bit. And I mean, I just saw the kid play, and I was like, this guy can go. I just try to trust my instincts and not what everyone else is trying to tell me about a guy. Obviously, I want to know about the character of the kid. That's huge. But then when I go, I want to see with my own eyes, and our staff wants to see and say, is this the guy? And we're not going to let, someone says, well, hey, man, are you sure he's good enough? Like, yeah, he's good enough for us. He's good enough for what we need. I'll never forget when we were at Florida Atlantic, we signed our first class, and I'll never forget a guy who was coaching the Sun Belt. He's like, man, those aren't Sun Belt players. I said, they're Mike Jarvis players. I said, I know they can play for him, and that's who we wanted. And by their sophomore year, we won the league in 2011. And I was just like, that's the guys. You want to look for the guys that can play for your boss. And I think that's the biggest thing. The head coaches that know what they want, know who they are, and the staff buys into that. And it's not about I have to get a top out or anything like that. I got to get the best guy for the program. I think seeing a guy like Ike Smith, I was like, this guy can play for Coach Byington. And, I mean, I've been fortunate. I mean, Stephon Moody, we had signed at Florida Atlantic. Ike Smith, you know, and I think you just have to do your homework and see guys, and you can see things. They've got that extra burst, or they can really score. Or they've got a competitive edge that you can just kind of sense when you talk to the guys. And you're not always right. I mean, every coach that says like, "Oh man, I'm the best recruiter. I know this guy was going to be a stud." There's times you don't know what they're going to be, and they end up being good players because you can't get in their heart and get in their soul and know what they're going to do when they get away from home and get into, you know, the weight room. They're away from home. They're getting in the gym. They're competing against grown men. And they're being held accountable every step of the way. But I mean, I just think I've been fortunate for that, and I just try to watch guys and just see what I think is the best for our head coach.
Now, Coach, we got to ask this now. Like you said, you've been in the game for a long time. You've been doing this at a high level for a long time. If your opportunity comes and you're announced as head coach of the next the next program, I'll just put it like that, the next program, because once you get on campus, that's what it's going to be. What would be the identity of a Tim Kaine coach team?
I want it to be a team that's relentless. The hard work that, you know, when coaches come up to you before the game, when they shake your hand, they're just like, man, coach, you got to play hard. That's the biggest thing I want for me personally. And it's not even about me. It's about those guys. And I want them to I want them to reach their potential and know that, man, the only way to get there is by working and knowing you got to compete at all times. You know, we're not going to be perfect as players. I won't be perfect as a head coach. I'm not perfect as an assistant coach, you know, but I want to make sure that we're doing the right things for the right reasons. I just want to be a hard playing group, honestly, to play a lot like we do at Murray. When we play hard, you know, we're unselfish, we compete, and we play to win. And I mean, I think those things, if I can learn some stuff from all the coaches I've worked for, but especially, you know, Coach McMahon, who's my boss right now, who I think is one of the best coaches in the country. Obviously, I'm very biased in that opinion, but I don't think I'm wrong either. I think he's one of the top up-and-coming coaches in the country, and I want to play like we do at Murray State, to be honest with you.
I like it, Coach. Coach, how many times do you have to see a kid before you feel like you can offer him? Do you need to see him in a bunch of different environments? Do you need to see him AAU and with his high school team? Or do you feel like you know kind of early, like, I really like this kid, we should offer this kid?
Yeah, I think, it's like when you find a girl, sometimes you see her right away and you're like, yeah, that's the one. You know, it's kind of like that.
I don't did that so many times.
And then there's others that you really like, but you just want to see them. You're like, all right, maybe this game's not a high level game he's playing in. Okay, tomorrow he's playing in a high level game. I want to see how he competes and goes against those guys that are as good as him or maybe a little better. And then sometimes you just see a guy and you're like, man, guys, that's the guy. Like, I mean, literally when I saw Shaq Buchanan that first time, I was like, man, he just got in a stance and started defending, and he dunked it and got a steal and was hype. I was like, that's our dude. You know, we saw Coach McMahon and Coach Kaine saw Ja Morant in the back gym and saw him just doing like 3-on-3 and was like, guys, that's the guy. Certain times you just trust your instincts and say, man, I think that's a guy that would fit us and fit our program. And, you know, obviously he'll help us get better, but we can help him get better, most importantly, and get him to where he wants to get to, you know, whether that's to be a pro or to get his degree and have a chance to be, you know, a teacher, a doctor, whatever he wants to be.
Coach, if he play bad at one of them 9 a.m. AAU games, you scratching him off the list, Coach?
Nah, because, man, and I don't drink coffee either, so I'm not one of them dudes over there with like 3 cups of coffee. I'm not mad at him. I understand a little bit. Like, I'll put that in my notes, like, man, it's a little early. But the best is, and I mean, if you see a guy that's going at it at 9 a.m., you know that dude's going to be playing at 7 p.m. So you know you got a dog on your hands. So, I mean, when you do see that guy, you're like, all right, we got to get that guy.
No doubt. Huff, that's my questions, man. Hey, Coach, I will say you one of the few coaches that came through here and came out unscathed, man. You handled the ratchet questions and the professional questions equally as well, Coach. You weren't rattled at all.
No, I appreciate it. I look like Opie Taylor, but I can handle myself.
If we come up there to Murray Take us to some good restaurants because I went to Louisville last year. Mondre couldn't tell me no good restaurants at all.
That's not true.
Louisville.
Tell him what you told me, Locke.
I don't even remember. You told me one spot.
Hey, Locke said, I can't take my mama there. I got my mama.
Oh yeah, my mom and my niece. I said, no, I can't go there.
hey, Locke walked in and he's like, hey man, this bulletproof glass in here. I can't go there.
Yeah, I did. Say I drove by. I said, nah, mom, we ain't in here.
You don't have to worry about that in Murray. Yeah, Murray. Good. We got a couple wing spots. We got a little hibachi spot.
Speaking my language, coach.
Like trying to get them free tickets to the game, man. Coach, we feel like we just starting to invite ourselves on the road, man. Now, Coach. I just want you to know. So
hey, we know we're not going to get charter buses from Huff though.
Oh, no.
Hey, Mondre. Hey, Mondre, I need you to be the ops guy, man, because I can't be holding my suitcase on my lap, man.
Hey, man, you have like a Geo Metro. You driving one of them.
I don't know. I don't know, Huff. We might give you a chance to redeem yourself, man. I'm thinking.
I redeemed myself then. I can redeem myself now. So
I'm thinking Murray State, Belmont. Coach, can we even get a ticket to that game? Like, is it possible?
Man, I know some people. I can take care of it.
hey, y'all would happen to be playing Belmont around January 9th, would you?
I'll tell you right now.
Oh,
I do the scheduling, so I got to have that at all times.
DeJuan birthday on the 7th. I'll get killed if I go.
We're on the road. Then.
Yeah, you ain't going, bro.
Dang.
We play on the 23rd at home.
Okay.
Coach, I got 2 games circled, Coach. I got Belmont and Tennessee State are the 2 games that I want to see. Slide on you, Coach.
You're going to hate on your alma mater? Like, come on, man.
He's not going to see his alma mater. He just
look. Hey, Coach.
He just got a degree.
Playing that degree anymore. Like, come on, man.
Coach, look. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I ain't even gonna hold you, Coach. When I don't get out of the house much, so when I do, I'm trying to have a good time.
That's a fact, Coach. That's a big fact. Big facts.
I don't get out the house much.
Hold your horses, Lock.
Hey, he acting like he fresh out.
I'm trying to have a good time.
We play TSU at home on the 21st, and on 20. I can't be talking about all the scheduling, I guess, but let's just say the same.
Hey, I agree, Shep.
Coach, you got guys campaigning in the comments for that.
Hey,
I love it.
Coach Shep over here. Hey, I seen Coach Shep after you won that state championship. He walked in the gym the next day. You couldn't tell that man nothing.
Man, he was at the key.
No.
Hey,
and 8 o'clock in the morning.
And they did y'all dirty, Coach. We gonna bring Coach.
Hey, man, that Max Prep stuff is trash, man. Don't even.
Yeah. Who voted on that? That was crazy.
Who knows? Nobody know who voted on that, man.
That was
we know who voted. All the coaches from up north.
How? They didn't even put the state champion number 1.
Dude, all those were Atlanta teams. Am I not right?
I don't know. I didn't even really look.
The first 15.
How do you not win a state championship and you're ranked?
You can't be. Hey man, to be the man,
you gotta beat the man.
Beat the man. Come on, man.
You want to voice with
championship, you know. Oh, what they called me? You know, y'all just. Hey man, y'all doing me dirty, man.
I think
on your head.
They called you right. They did call Sandy. They called somebody don't even watch the games.
They called damn. Sheesh.
You got them camped.
We watched Wheeler earlier in the season though. I feel like we kind of predicted they were gonna win though, by the way that they played defense. Man, they played.
You said you predicted they were gonna win the championship earlier. I don't remember that, Bryce.
Nah. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying that I predicted them winning the championship, but I thought that they were a really good team.
Really good team.
When we watched them against
It
Milton.
wasn't, and it wasn't like a Wheeler team that we're used to watching with, maybe 3 or 4, 2 or 3 5-star kids or whatever they usually have. But it was a really cohesive team group that moved. Yeah, like, so I'm not saying I knew they were going to win a state championship, but they were very well coached this year, and they had, some good players that played their role too. So those rankings are trash. They might as well throw those away. Like, come on.
I agree with you, Bryce. I think talked about it too. I talked about Willard after they lost. They actually lost to
Milton.
I think it was South Cobb. But after they lost the game, I actually was like, man, this is Larry's best coaching job, man. This is the best job they've done. Willard High School. So shout out to Willard. I knew we would. Any more questions for Coach, man?
Coach, what's something you've taken from each one of the coaches you work for?
Well, man, I've worked for a lot of them, and that would take a little while. Man, I've been I think it's my 7th spot now.
All right, let's go last 4. Go last 4 then.
Sheesh.
Last 4. Coach McMahon's organization, how he runs the program, the culture of the program, just does an unbelievable job. And you sit there and we're top 50 in offense and defense. So, he's not only, there's some guys they'll say, oh, he's a great defensive coach or he's a great offensive coach. No, he's a great coach. He can do it on both ends and does a great job. Coach Byington, man, he taught me how to be patient and be calm. Because I'm not always calm. I am during the games as an assistant. I don't know how I'll be as a head coach at times. But he was so calm in practice. I just remember we turned the ball over a couple times and my blood was boiling. I was like, man, this can't. He just like, no, we're good. Just let him go. But he knew we had 5 fifth-year seniors on the team, and he knew with that team he could be that way. Whereas I would ask Coach Wilson, I'd be like, man, the year before was he like this? He's like, no, that was their first year taking over the program. So he did a really good job of knowing who his guys were, and did a great job coaching those guys. Coach Jarvis, man, he is Mariano Rivera of closing and recruiting. Man, you bring a guy on campus, that thing is done. He Jedi mind tricked some guys. Like they committed and they didn't even know it. It was unbelievable. Like he was unreal at it. Like I just sit there and be like, he just commit. All right, let's go. Like, it would be done. And he did an unbelievable job with that. And obviously a great coach and is coached at a high level. St. John's, his GW teams, like they were better than some of the St. John's teams. He had pros all over the place on those teams. And then Coach Patrick Ewan in high school, and helped him a lot, with his growth to become the player that he became. And then Randy Peel was before that. And Randy is he's a guy, and as an assistant and a head coach, like he knows everything that's going on and he wants to know everything that's going on. I don't know if I'm smart enough to do all that. And he is so good and he knows, heck, I always joke with him, and he's an unbelievable coach. Like Coach Peel is an unreal coach. He's a basketball mind. He's a basketball junkie. He's out the road. He's on the road recruiting, grinding like he's 20. And I remember one time he told me from when he was at Tennessee State, he drove down. We were like in Miami, and he's like, I drove down here, and I was like, man, come on now, you're blowing down here. Like, man, I'm younger than you. I worked for you. Like, man, you got to fly. But just his knowledge of the game and how he wanted to soak up everything. Like, he's got notebooks that, you just see, like, there's stacks that he handwritten. Like, he didn't type these. He didn't have someone else do it for him. He did it all. And I'll never forget my interview. I think I interviewed for a month on that job. But we would just be in there. I just remember one time he's like, Tim, would you go 4 across on your out of bounds under, press breaker? Or would you do 2 and 2 at and then we just like went through the whole thing for like an hour, and just like how knowledgeable he was of the game. Like, just that taught me at a young age, like I got to step it up with my knowledge of the game real quick.
So Coach, what your players got you listening to?
Me?
Yeah.
Don't let me listen to anything. I listen to what I want. They know that. I'm the old head on staff. Everyone else in their 30s. I'm older than Coach McMahon by like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a few months older than our boss. So like, man, they ain't talking music with me. You already know that. I will say this: I started listening to Lil Baby. I went for a run when I was recruiting down in Tampa.
Yes, sir.
The guys, I came back. I said, all right. I said, I was gonna run like 2 miles.
4 p.m.
I ended up running like 4. I said, I mess with Lil Baby.
No
For the
doubt.
most part, man, I'm putting on some just chill music, chill.
I got you. I feel you.
We got another question here. This will be our last one, Coach. About how do you guys view smaller point guards at Murray?
Yeah, I mean, we recruit them. We've had more success at Murray with bigger point guards historically. I mean, Cam, Isaiah, Ja were all about 6'2" to 6'3". But Jonathan Stark was, he'll say he was 6 foot 5'11", but he's probably like 5'10". And obviously he was player of the year in the league. So, man, that size thing for us, can they play? I mean, I've recruited guys. Heck, when I was at Florida Atlantic, I mean, we had Ray Taylor. He was like 5'5". I mean, and he was first team all league as a sophomore. And I mean, when obviously Stephon Moody, I've coached him before. Obviously at Georgia Southern, they had a pretty good point guard. He was all right for 4 years in Georgia man, And so for us, it's the best player. If you can get, I mean, it is advantageous if at our level we can get a 6'2" point guard that can really go, obviously. And if you can go, you can go. I think sometimes as all coaches at every level, we almost like, well, he needs to be this size, he needs to be this height. Like, man, you just got to get the best player you can get and the best player that fits your program. Yeah, Tookie was that man.
Yes, he was.
Tookie's tough.
For sure.
Sutton's really good too. I like Sutton's game.
Really, really good. Question for the group, man. It says, how do you guys feel about AAU for elementary school players?
Why?
Should I answer that?
Why?
Let Bryce answer. Bryce, you answer.
I think I'll say why, but go ahead, Bryce.
I think skill development. Now, I mean, if I look back at it, I think skill development from like anywhere from elementary school all the way to probably like 6th grade is probably your most important thing, because if you don't have those skills down, like if you can't do a left-handed layup, right-handed layup, and some of the things the coach already said, if you're not hitting the guy head and some of those things, by the time you're in 7th or 8th grade, you're already behind. So, I mean, like, I remember having guys play AAU, like I'm talking about like high level AAU. We're going to Orlando, and like Zion Harmon is there, and it's packed. So I mean, I remember that stuff, and those kids, they eventually translate, like Madison and Sutton. These kids translate to high level basketball players. So the competition is there, and it helps. But I would focus on skill development and playing, and worry about maybe when I got to middle school, if I could do those basic things and I could do it consistently, then I would probably look to really get into AAU seriously. But I mean, I know like we were traveling in 4th and 5th grade, and like that was crazy. It was crazy. But I mean, that was expectations for that program, and that's what they wanted for their kids. So I think it just depends on
You shouldn't play AAU at all.
No, I think you should play, but I think the focus. I think you can play. I don't think you need to play every weekend. I think the focus should be more on skill development and learning the game and the terminology versus, let me go try to win these tournaments for 5th grade when nobody really, most of the time, are we going to remember you anyway in 4 years? It depends on who you are.
And this is my thing about that, Bryce, is, and why I would say for most kids, like the Madisons and those guys of the world, like it definitely translated for those. But to me, when you look at the money that you're going to spend for AU, and I'm talking about everything from the team fees to anything else that you buy, any other shoes or anything else that you buy, all the money that you're going to spend getting your family. I don't know if this guy has paid for 4 people to get into an AAU event before, but try doing that every day, like for a summer, or every weekend, multiple times a weekend for a summer, and think about all that money that you just spent for that summer. And what's the biggest return of investment? when you could go give that same amount of money to a Coach Shep, to Uncle Drew, to Mark, to Kelvin, to you know what I mean?
Yeah, look, Mondre, at the same time, I get it. At the same time, there are some high level AAU, which sounds crazy, high level AAU programs in 4th and 5th grade.
Yeah.
And they are going to Virginia. They're going to Orlando. They're going to yes. So yes, you are spending a lot of money. If the parents are invested in it, I mean, okay. But I mean, I just
started 6 to me.
Yeah. You're definitely gonna have a wake up. That kid is gonna have a wake up call in middle school, and because you're gonna see great exceptions, and and kids are gonna be. So it's gonna hit you at some point, but and that's why I said that skill development is important, because if you don't have that skill development and you're playing against a kid that's a whole back in 6th grade, what you gonna do?
Hey, that's good advice. Start when the coach will come get you.
I'm finna give y'all an AAU tip on how to get into games.
What you mean when the coach come get you? Like pick you up?
When the coach will come pick you up, when you ain't got to pay no fees, that's when you start.
Man, them days over with, man. We're not picking nobody up.
I'm about to give them an AAU tip how to get into games. Let your kid check in, then have him come open the back door. I've been doing it for years.
Sean, your guy over here trying to let people in. Sneak people in.
I do it. Hey, I did it at Lake Point a few times. That over there by the vending machines and where they sit the concession stands, just have a kid open that back door.
That must be RJ. Is that RJ's mom?
Yeah.
Can I tell you who was on one? I've had RJ, Nord, Madison Durr. Who else I have in elementary or middle school? Elementary? Sutton Smith.
Everybody that's good in 2021. Yeah. Just say everybody in 2021.
A lot of the kids were good in 2021. That much credit.
He had everybody except for Robbie.
Johnny Floyd, my dad, Johnny Floyd when he was at Game Believe.
Johnny started because of me. Johnny got into the game because of me, because I was whooping his butt every weekend. He know what time it is.
All right, I'm gonna let him know that as soon as we get out.
We want all that smoke.
Hey man, let's get out of here. That's our time. See, this is what happens, Coach. Every time toward the end of the show, this is what happens.
When I was getting out of hand though, and I wasn't getting out of hand, but I was like, man, this is getting a little too serious. I took 8th graders to Fab 48 in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun. It was fun, but I mean, it was like we just spent all this money for what? So,
hey, well, let me ask this, Coach Kaine.
Yep.
You want to watch 8th graders in Vegas?
The show right there.
If college coaches ain't watching it, man, nah, man. But guys, that's our show, man. We love you guys. We got a great week, our next couple of weeks mapped out for all of you guys. So for all of our SoundCloud listeners, from all of our listeners all over the country, man, you definitely want to lock in because, man, it's just going to continue to get better. We're going to jump into this this flyer that got dropped that Lock put out here on the podcast in the interwebs about the greatest player ever from the state of Georgia.
Well, I can't put that out.
Put it on the show.
Oh, he put it on the show. Yeah.
Sean put it out, but you introduced it on the show. But we're gonna get into this conversation, and we're gonna have some players join us to have this conversation about the greatest player ever to come out of Georgia.
Like current high school players?
No, we're talking about some people who.
How many current high school players are on that list now?
I say they wouldn't know. They just gonna say Sharif Cooper.
We're talking about some guys that have something to say. That we got guys that are currently on that list. A couple of guys that could very well be on that list. I have an argument as to why they should be on the list that are coming on the show, man. So, announcements coming soon. I'll just say that, man. It's gonna be good stuff. We're gonna get good, but
Hey man, make sure you put self-explanatory. Self-explanatory. Hey, LeBron before LeBron.
Hey man, I still got nightmares of that dude. What he did to my Louisville Cardinals is not right. But coach, we want to let everybody know what's going on for Minority Coaches Association of Georgia, what's going on for the next week, and then what we got coming on the show for Sunday.
We're gonna try to hook some coaches up, man. Try to get them ready for the next level. So we putting it together to try to get some coaches to get their resumes together, to know how to interview, and we're gonna do some mock interviews, man, to get some people ready, some assistant coaches, like my guy down there, so he can be a head coach one day. So get your stuff ready, man, so you can be selected as one of these coaches.
Bullshit.
I'm keeping my mouth shut, man.
Right.
I'm not gonna fall for the bait today.
That's no bait. You do.
So we got that coming. We're gonna drop when we're gonna do that. And then Tim Kaine, Larry Dixon's on Sunday. So I'll just leave it at that.
LD
from South Florida is on Sunday. And we may have a special guest.
Could be huge. Could be huge. If this guest confirms for Sunday, it could be huge, man. But you won't know until you lock in. You won't know until you lock in. All I will say is you better be here Sunday on time, brother.
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. But until then, man, y'all be easy. It's Mondre Allen, man. Be Will, Lock, Huff. In the top 50, our big dog, Tim Kaine.
Hey. OG.
What was it, Silver Wave? What was that tweet? Was it Silver Wave?
Silver Wave. You got it.
Hey.